Well, you came here for watching the movie Mيلادا. I hope you will enjoy it. And I would like to encourage you to stay here after the movie with us, because we have here the dialogue company and their ambassadors who will be leading the dialogue circle, so there will be definitely time and a really nice environment for a discussion.
Please. Can I see them first? We're hoping to hand them to you in front of the cameras. A symbolic gesture, if you will.
We were thinking, like, what if the roles were reversed? Like, if this was the husband's job, he would have never felt this kind of guilt. He would have never thought about apologizing.
I have recently read somewhere that a letter is like a ray of light from a distant star. Its light comes to us and shines on us.
For his wife, at this time, like, this is just me doing my job, and especially at this time in the 50s, there was just this stereotypical image of how a wife should be. So for her at that time to be this kind of lawyer, this kind of senator.
A bit of a lady delivery, isn't it?
The President is expecting you, Mrs. Zarakova.
He's actually seen me go.
Yes.
I'm originally a filmmaker, and I just finished a movie this year that was about oppression in the media. And every day this movie was getting a scene. I was very scared that I would get in prison or my family would be in trouble or so. Before even doing it or producing it, I was very scared. So I connected with much of what happened, and I really wish we had come to a point where people are not in prison because of their opinions.
What if a piece of Paris came to you? Thank you.
Peppy will take you one day.
Just as your wife took you.
The role of the daughter and what she was thinking. Would she ever forgive her mother for letting her live this kind of life or not? I did not make any assumptions about her, but I was in her mind and the struggle of her mind through all her life, whether it is real, it is worth it, it is how she would translate her mother's life in her young head.
I will not talk about the movie, but I think if she was a man, he will feel very guilty about sacrifice his life and time with his children and her suffering, of course, for him.
Did you like it? Yes, I did.
She was not sacrificing her daughter as much as she was helping her generation in general to get the freedom and the rights that should have.
Jurisprudence.
Good. We'll work in the medical room.
Hard to stick to the law and trying to appear and follow everything legally, although of course the torture and everything that is happening behind the scenes is happening behind the scenes, but the court and everything, the procedures and everything, they're trying to make everything in the backstage to make it seem so legal. So it's a lot of effort, and that's what we were talking about mainly, because that happened in several cases during the movie, and that's what the movie was portraying as well, just having the paperwork right. And that took a lot of effort. The other thing we talked about was
attribué à Mélada par le général de Gaulle.
What sort of concessions?
Her choice to help others leave while consciously choosing to stay every time the decision to leave was approaching, and I think that in itself is something worth thinking about. Like when was she ever going to leave, or that was her helping other people was her main I don't know what she believed in so much. So that was something to think about also.
And will strengthen in the future this friendship which was so happily established with the great American democracy to the benefit of our peace.
This is it.
The argument was very impressive, since I think that part of the success of Mélada or her short, happy life was her husband. Her husband was very supportive. He was really in love with her. He was a very civilized man, and he was never, I think, jealous of the success of his husband. And this is very rare in general in men. And I won't talk about the East, of course, but I think although the real heroine, of course, is Mélada, but her husband and her sister, of course, who continued her mission in to support the daughter and to continue as a normal guy. You have to always to celebrate the heroes, but you have to appreciate normal people. Normal people, without normal people, there are no heroes, of course.
Are you aware of the charges against you?
I am.
Yes, I am.
Yes. Do you plead guilty to these crimes?
Confess to leading a traitorous resistance movement.
Strong she stayed, and that we don't understand, but not only the husband, but like she had a really strong support group, I think, like in her family. Because, for example, I was just thinking, like, the man who was interrogating her, like, he didn't feel like it, you know. It looked like he was hesitating, and they told him like be creative and whatever, and then they just showed the pictures of his family, and maybe he didn't have like the support or like the connections, you know. Maybe they didn't have a place to hide or something, so he just gave up. And that was like this with the regime. So I think it was important to have this. She was also saying like your love will carry me through this and everything. And I think that was the love of the family, not only the husband, but the strong like support system.
I feel like, especially in the scene when she told the daughter that your mom is the reason for the sickness of your dad. This makes me feel like for how long or for how much we are stuck to our principles and the things that we believe in. Because she transformed and she was supporting her at the end of her life. But in some moments we are always in this. We are always thinking of the principles we have, for how long we will fight for this and when we will stop, because we in Egypt live the same moments every day within everything happening around. Yeah. So yes.
To say that when we talk about her choices, like we need to always consider the circumstances, because I wouldn't have wanted to have a child at that time. I wouldn't have wanted to live at that time. So I think, like, to me, she chose her child in a way, you know, if you understand. So I don't think it was that easy. Like I would always choose my family, or I would do this. I would always choose my beliefs. And I think like also the communists, like a lot of them afterwards, I don't believe that no one was feeling bad for what they did, you know. They just chose the family at that time, and then maybe they regretted it, but I'm not sure if there was like right or wrong, you know, under the circumstances. Because it was not easy choosing anything. Like, I just wouldn't have wanted to live at that time. Like, so.
Really sad that it's 2023 and we still are struggling with trying to live the truest versions of ourselves and being authentic in a world that constantly forces us to like abide by the norm of the society and the pressure and how you should not say things and why you quit your job or what happened and what actually happened or not. And I think two things that really stood out for me here is how she really was so living her small lived life the truest way she could, and I think that's way valid than living 100 years a lie. I think that's the biggest lesson anyone can teach anyone, and I know it's a very difficult thing to do. I myself struggle with doing it. I think one thing I did today was that if I can't be open like that on the front lines with everyone in the public, if you can choose at least 2 or 3 people to do that with, it's better than not doing it at all. So, yeah, thank you.
These terrorists were planning the Third World War with the Western imperialists to destroy us all. But we are smarter than them. We found them and brought them to justice. Your Honor, I ask for the harshest punishment for all of them.
The execution is scheduled for the 27th of June.
You get to decide once you're born which track you will choose, but life is complicated. And I'm sure she didn't plan that Nazis would invade, and she did not plan that the communists would take over. But there is something that she felt and she believed in so much, and she was fighting for a cause. And yes, we're not all fighters, and we're not all fighting for different causes, and everyone has their own cause to fight on a daily basis. And yes, I wish it was that simple. And I'm not sure if she had a baby and then had a political career.
But I've also seen her fighting the patriarchy. I've seen her alone in a room full of men, calling her hysterical, which is something I can relate to, and I bet also many women here can relate to the same thing. So it's a different time back in the 50s. It's also different here in the Middle East for women. But what I would do different is I would work more on getting more connected to similar people, to other women.
كمان في الفيلم هو جايب بنتها طول الوقت بتراقب اللي بيحصل لها، يعني ما كانتش خالص طول الفيلم في اخر المشهد لما كانت بتودعها، فهي طول الفيلم بتراقب اللي بيحصل، وفي الاخر بقى بينت يعني ان كل ده ايه طلعت في الكلام اللي هي بتقول ان هي واخده امها بطولها ومثل. ممكن انا مثلا عندي كومنت شويه ان هو برضه مش حاطط يعني طريق مثلا تمشي عليه اللي هي بنتها المفروض انها كبرت مثلا حاجه زي كده. لكن
equation changes everything, and I could see the feeling of guilt crippling in every time she had to make a decision whether to go back to politics or not, whether she went too far and she was risking the family or not. So having a kid and that it changes everything, and I cannot judge, of course. I'm just sitting here relaxed in a movie and watching the story, but it's just when can you prioritize the life of a child, your own child, or the life of your calling or what you believe in, and
others who have other aims and have an idealistic view have the strength to go far beyond themselves and their family. And this makes the difference between extraordinary people and normal people. We are all normal people and we think like him, like I do make the same choice, but she is different. And this makes her great.
Life with both hands. Until my last breath I shall pray for your happiness. I shall always be with you.
Thank you everyone, and thank you for attending the movie and for staying for the dialogue section and everything. Thank you so much. And Teresa, do you want to say any last words?
Just thank you and stay strong.
شكرا جدا. Thank you so much.